Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm the host, and this is the history of the Chengdu J-7. On October 26, 1952, the Soviet Union delivered four MiG-15s to China to assist in the Chinese Civil War. China was fighting against the nationalist government of Chiang Kai-shek, who had been pushed to the island of Taiwan by the Chinese Communist Party. The MiG-15 was the first jet fighter to be delivered to China, and it would also be the first jet fighter that China would produce indigenously. After studying the MiG-15, Chinese engineers began drafting plans for their own jet fighter based on the design of the MiG-15. This aircraft would eventually be known as the Chengdu J-7. By 1958, 7 prototypes of the J-7 were completed, with the first flight taking place in December of that year. The prototype was powered by a single 9C engine which produced 9,500 pounds of thrust. The aircraft would go through several different iterations over the years, and would eventually be powered by the more powerful 3G or WZ-7A engines, which produced 14,000 pounds of thrust. These would be turbojet engines manufactured by the Shanghai Turbine Engine Company. The armament of the Chengdu J-7 consisted of two 23mm guns in the nose. The wings were swept at an angle of 40 degrees, and the plan was to have the aircraft reach a top speed of Mach 1.5, or about 1,000 miles per hour. The aircraft was designed to operate from high-elevation airfields such as those found in western China. This was because the Chinese military believed that the United States would attempt an invasion of China from the west. In 1958, China set up the Chengdu Aircraft Corporation in order to manufacture the J-7. The first production models rolled out in 1964. The Chengdu J-7 differs slightly from the original MiG-15 in terms of its fuselage length, wingspan, and height. The Chinese aircraft is 1.7 inches longer than the MiG-15, has a 1.3-inch longer wingspan, and is 10 inches taller. Takeoff weight for the J-7 is listed at 13,600 pounds, while the empty weight is 8,800 pounds. The Chengdu J-7 entered service with the People's Liberation Army Air Force in 1965. By 1968, there were 12 air regiments equipped with the J-7. During the Cultural Revolution, the production of the J-7 was halted along with many other projects. However, in 1970, production of the J-7 resumed and continued without interruption thereafter. In 1974, the J-7 began to be exported to other countries, including North Korea and Pakistan. By the end of 1978, China had produced 278 J-7s south. That same year, the U.S. would lift an embargo on the export of aviation technology to China, and so in 1980, China sent some J-7 airframes to the United States for evaluation. In 1984, China began to upgrade the J-7 with new avionics and updated engines. Some sources say that this upgrade program was begun in order to extend the life of the aircraft to a total of 20,000 hours. Others claim that the upgrade was intended to modernize the J-7 and improve its performance to bring it in line with modern American fighters. In the early 1990s, China began developing a multi-role combat aircraft known as the J-10. The J-10 would incorporate many new ADAS technologies not seen before in Chinese aircraft, including a glass cockpit, active electronically scanned array radar, and fourth-generation stealth features. Many believe that the J-10 was specifically designed to counter the F-16. This is because in the early 1990s, the U.S. was considering selling F-16s to Taiwan, and China wanted to make sure that it still had a superior fighter over Taiwan. Some believe that the J-10 was rushed into development in order to meet this deadline. The Chengdu J-7 remained in service alongside the J-10 and other modern Chinese fighters such as the J-8 and J-11. In fact, some sources claim that the J-7 is still in use today. However, if this is true, then it is only in a training capacity. In 2011, Pakistan began upgrading its fleet of 154 Chengdu J-7 South. These upgraded aircraft are known as the Super 7. Pakistani Super 7 South are now equipped with Israeli sourced helmet-mounted gun sights, modern avionics, air-to-air, and air-to-air-around missiles. It should be noted that Pakistan already had the JF-17, a multi-role combat aircraft that shares many similarities with the Chengdu J-7. So in essence, Pakistan has two indigenous multi-role combat aircraft. During the Cold War, the Chengdu J-7 served as China's primary fighter and would play a significant role in the defense of Chinese airspace. Along with the Chengdu J-6, China would operate a total of 1,500 Chengdu J-7 South during this period. At one point, 70% of all frontline combat aircraft in China were Chengdu J-7 South. During the brief but intense Sino-Soviet border conflict of 1969, the J-7 successfully intercepted and shot down several Soviet aircraft. The Chengdu J-7 saw action during the 1979 war between China and Vietnam. During the war, the Chinese claimed to have shot down 340 enemy aircraft for the loss of 18 aircraft. However, these figures are disputed. Most Western military analysts agree that Vietnam lost less than 50 aircraft during the entire conflict. There are conflicting reports as to whether or not any Chengdu J-7 South were shot down during the war. In 1982, a Chengdu J-7 from the 26th Fighter Regiment stationed in Tibet was reported to have been shot down by a surface-to-air missile over the South China Sea. The pilot managed to eject safely. Later that year, another J-7 was reportedly shot down near the Paracel Islands. There are conflicting reports as to what type of aircraft actually shot the J-7 down. Some reports say that the J-7 was shot down by a U.S. Navy F-14 Tomcat, while other sources claim that the J-7 was shot down by a Vietnamese MiG-21. There are even claims that the J-7 was shot down by a Soviet S-300 surface-to-air missile battery that was assisting the Vietnamese. The crew of the downed J-7 managed to survive the incident. The Chengdu J-7 remains one of the most prolific aircraft in Chinese history. It was the first indigenous aircraft designed and built entirely within China. Up until that time, China had been assembling aircraft under license from the Soviet Union. The J-7 helped establish the foundations for the Chinese aircraft industry. Today, the Chengdu Aircraft Corporation still manufactures the J-7, in addition to the more advanced J-10, J-11, J-20, and J-31. In 2015, the corporation produced a total of 550 aircraft. Of these, 150 were Chengdu J-7 South. The Chengdu J-7 is considered by many to be one of the best jet fighters ever to come out of China. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out my other videos on the history of aviation. And if you like what I do, consider supporting me on Patreon. Thanks for watching. See you next time.